MVP.
Hits one in the air, left center field, back it goes. Harper, the swing of his life.
You never get ahead of yourself. As
I know rent is due every day. It's always been that way for me. Always been a get better mentality every day, grow every day, be a better leader every day, be a better quarterback every day. And when that rent's due, I don't plan on missing no payments. So.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 3 in the Keystone, episode 120, a special Monday night episode. There's no ramping up with this group. We're all here and we're all active tonight, I think, because we got Al Ryan there with the sleep mask on in the corner.
Like Bird Box.
I'm awake. I'm here. I'm here.
Long weekend in the Ryan household, but Al has stayed up just to entertain all of you guys tonight.
I want to start with a quick shout out here because I was just telling you, Adam, before the show started, Casey went away this weekend. So now I'm going, and she got sick. She came home and now she's like on her deathbed upstairs. She's sleeping. She's been asleep since I got home. This is now only 4 days, and I'm not looking for a pat on the back here, but 4 days of doing everything, right? And I just want to say, even after 4 days, being a single parent, quote unquote, is impossible. So a quick shout out to all the single parents, anybody that's blessed enough to have a partner in crime with raising children shares this sentiment. It is insane. It's crazy, man. I'm ragged right now.
Chris, I made the comparison before you jumped on. You may have caught the end of it. Al, she goes away for the weekend. Al plays the full game. It's like Embiid going 40 minutes, and then she comes home and she can't help. It's like overtime, and he's not ready for overtime. He's gassed out.
I'm a scratch for game 6, dude.
Yeah. Well, he's doing back-to-backs. He's got 4 back-to-backs.
That's more than Embiid in the last few seasons.
I mean, hey, you gotta say. Yeah. I will say this though. It looks like 2 of the 3 of us are probably in need of a barbershop. Brother, I see you. I see you.
You don't want to pay for gas to go down there and get a cut or what?
Hey, Al, you want to? I'll pick you up. We'll go.
I just got this Saturday.
Damn.
We'll go up the way. Oh, what do you do? The sides?
This is the Springfield special.
Oh, okay. See, I thought it was just where the top was just getting like you normally would shave it a little bit down or cut it down. I know you were doing the actual.
No free ads. Or I tell you where I got it. I'll have to talk to the people at my shop to see if they want to sponsor the pod.
Hey,
I'll stop wearing a hat.
No, well, see, now that you've explained it, now it's different. Now that changes the whole complexity of the whole thing.
Yeah, that's backtracking real fast.
They'll be coming at the cut. That's like scuffing somebody's sneakers, dude. Come on, man.
Respect. Yeah.
So look, guys, we got a lot going on. We have the Eagles on a 3-game win streak. We haven't talked about them in a couple of weeks. Sixers opened up, looked dead, but in the spirit of Halloween, came back to life with a nice win yesterday. But let's have some fun tonight, boys. So I think we're going to start
every night when we do this.
We're going to start with the Halloween theme of things that we're scared of, both in the sports world and both in the real world. But I want to ask you guys now that we were all actually, Chris, you weren't a father at this point last year, but I didn't get to really celebrate Halloween last year. What are the kids being this year? What are you dressing them up as?
Well, it's funny you said that because there was a part of me that wanted to come on here and spark a social media poll for what they should be. But I think we're going to go with traditional since they're only going to be one. And then we're going to go traditional like Bumblebee and a Ladybug. But then we also, for 2 and 3, we already have, I'll let you guys in on a secret since we're a family here at the 3 in the Keystone. There'll probably be Prince and Michael Jackson next year. And probably Salt and Pepper the year after that.
That's a guy like that.
Yeah. Those are good ones. Al, what do you got?
Well, so nothing that you got. So I don't know if you've ever seen The Greatest Showman, but my daughters are obsessed with that movie. So they're being 2 characters from that. And then Jackson's being the scream killer. Jackson likes to be scary things. He's the biggest wimp I know. He's scared of his shadow. So I think it's his way of coping with it.
Yeah. Now, it's funny you said about The Greatest Showman. I had some students the other day that talked about that almost like skipped over into like another group of people than it really intended to.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was a movie until my girl started watching it.
Yeah, because it's not that old. It's only a couple years old, but it just like adults when it came out were like, that's all right. And then now kids that see it, they like have fallen in love with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Seltzer, what do you got? What do you got for young Hayden?
So we wanted to go Baby Thanos in true personality form, but the price on baby costumes is a little excessive. If you go on like Target, I'm not paying $60 for a Baby Thanos costume.
Well, that's why you do the simple butterfly, but
that's why you go in DH gate.
What's is that your site? That might be too late for that.
No, you would have had to order it in September to get it for Halloween, so you're a little late to the punch there.
So Megan went to a thrift shop and thought she bought Abu the monkey from Aladdin, but in reality, it's just a regular monkey. It's not Abu at all.
She bought Harambe.
Yeah.
Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you just have him be his favorite touch football quarterback?
I don't know. I don't know if he has that good of a relationship enough with that guy to wear that outfit. But all right, let's get into it tonight. So, Chris, you brought up the idea for the Halloween spirit of things that we are scared of. Like I say, it can be a sports thing, it can be not a sports thing. So, why don't you kick us off with what you have?
Yeah, so I'll start from the sports world. And I was thinking about this, and I had a couple answers that I was considering to say tonight, and then the one that keeps coming back to me is the one I'm going to go with. And after watching the Sixers last night, I am scared, and I never thought I'd have to say this, but it makes me uncomfortable to say and scared to admit that Tyrese Maxey might just be better than Allen Iverson.
Whoa.
Skill-wise. I'm not saying the persona and everything that comes with that, but if you look at his numbers at that age, he's ahead of Allen. He has like 45 plus point games before the age of 24 in Sixers history. Allen Iverson had 2 of them. Maxey's already got 4. Maxey's already had more 50-point games at that age than Iverson ever had. And I'm getting to the point where I hate to admit that and say that because Allen is like the man to us in our generation of Sixers fandom. But Maxey's special, man. Like what he did yesterday with coming back off of that awful first half and then just making the adjustments and just being lights out is something that you only see great historic guys do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to know what the possessions per game numbers are for now versus Iverson's first 5 years. I'd also like to know, I mean, obviously Iverson was not a 3-point specialist by any means. I don't think he ever broke like 35% from 3. And I think that playing today, and it's so impossible to compare eras, but I feel like he would have been a better 3-point shooter had the game been more aligned with being, a bomber the way everybody is nowadays. You look at Iverson's 3-point numbers, he was only averaging about 4 attempts a game in his 5th season. Maxey's up to 12.7 attempts a game in this young season.
Shot, 17 yesterday?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's some, the numbers are a little bit skewed. Sure. I'm not ready to say that. I can't. That's sacrilege in this city, I think.
I know. That's why I'm fearful of even putting that thought in my head. It makes me very uncomfortable.
So let me douse it in water to make you feel a little more comfortable, Chris. And here's my comparison. In Iverson's age 25 season, he took a team of defensive stars to the NBA Finals.
Right.
Tyrese Maxey not only has had the pleasure, as much as we bash Embiid, Iverson never had the pleasure of playing anybody near that skill level, nonetheless, a James Harden for a couple of years. And we've seen Maxey in that solo role flourish statistically, but not necessarily from a win-loss perspective. And I don't see, again, Iverson was 25 when he went to the finals. Maxey's only 24 now. I don't see Maxey being able to put up those numbers and win games and be a 1 seed as the guy.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't saying I thought he was going to be better than him as far as like the guy that can be on the franchise player of a team by himself. But I'm saying statistically speaking, and I know it's hard to really compare eras like you said, Al, but statistically speaking, and even just skill set wise, even if Iverson practiced, which is ironic, but even if he practiced more on the shooting, I think Maxey is still a better pure shooter than he would have been. Maxey's arguably as fast, if not faster, than Allen was, and Allen was a lightning bolt. I think Maxey's the fastest guy with the ball in the NBA.
I think you're disrespecting Iverson's quickness. He
was, if not the top, he was the second fastest guy in his generation too. But Maxey's like with the ball in his hands, man. Allen wasn't Maxey fast.
Right, but if you notice, I didn't say fast. I said quick. Iverson might be the quickest player in NBA history.
Well, to have that crossover be so effective, you got to be quick. But I just feel like his overall between quickness and his speed, he's obviously also taller than Allen was. He's thicker than Allen was, not by much, but I mean, then again, Seltzer's thicker than Allen was. So like, all that being
ricochet.
Well, Seltzer likes the thickness in the dudes. He talks about the thick guys.
But guess I'll say this: Maxey's height today translates to what Iverson's height was then.
Because everybody being bigger around.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But I think it's interesting. You know, Adam, you mentioned that Iverson took a team of defensive, grinders to the NBA Finals. That team, though, was built around him and his skill set and his hard-headedness and his stubbornness of only being the only guy that can shoot the ball. If Tyrese Maxey, if this team was built around him, I'd be interested to see how far Tyrese could take this team, because this team is simply not built around him, and it won't be for the foreseeable future.
No, it's not, Al. And also, I'll say one more thing. Maxey's leadership skills are better than Allen's.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, that's already evident.
And also in Maxey, as we continue to make points for Maxey, the league as a whole is a lot stronger. That Iverson Eastern Conference that they went through was extremely weak compared to the Eastern Conference today.
Yeah,
they also got
in the East now.
They also got away with beating the living shit out of him, though, which
that's true. Also,
can't get away with in the NBA today. I'd like to
see Tyrese takes a beating too, but not like Iverson.
Not like
he
Iverson.
Never gets calls for whatever reason. They don't like to give this kid calls, and it's frustrating. But I'm not there yet. But I find myself like when I watched that game yesterday, I was like, that second half, I watched in amazement at how he clearly made adjustments at the half and came out. And not only was he taking over the game, but visibly and vocally, you can see he is the alpha of this team. He is at that point now where he's not just like the kid that's like having a great game. He is the top dog without these other guys without Paul and Joel on the court. And he's comfortable with that. Most importantly, he's comfortable now at this point with that role.
I want to loop in here what scares me, because I had something similar, and it was that I'm scared that we're wasting Tyrese Maxey's prime. I think that
I don't think he's even there yet.
So, but I don't know that. I don't know that he's not there yet, man. This is his year 5 season. Like, this is where some players get the keys to the castle and they get to run the ship, and they're simply not letting Maxey do that. And obviously there's no plan to do that anytime soon, signing Paul George to a max deal and signing Embiid to an extension in the summer. I'm worried that this is becoming one of those LA Lakers situations where you saw Shaq and Kobe, and there were a few years there where the two of them were butting heads, and it was kind of obvious that it was time for Shaq to pass the baton to Kobe, and he wouldn't do it. And I'm worried what's going to happen with Tyrese in this franchise if we keep on stringing him along as just another guy on this team, the third option or even the second option. I don't know that we're necessarily going to be able to maximize what he can truly bring to a franchise, because he's a winner. He's a dog. I don't know that Paul George. No. I take that back. I know that Paul George and Joel Embiid are not dogs and not winners. I don't know that Tyrese Maxey in the captain's seat is not a winner.
Well, that's what I was going to say too before you said it. Is the difference is Paul and Joel both. I think Joel's already kind of said he's ready to pass a little bit of the franchise to Tyrese by calling him the franchise now, and being comfortable with, I guess, this diminished role that he's about to have apparently with the not playing back-to-backs and this and that. And I think he's in a good place with letting Tyrese have some more of the shine, because it's taking not only physical pressure but probably also emotional pressure off of him. And Paul, obviously, he's only been in this town for enough time to have a cup of coffee, so we don't really know about him as other than the fact that, historically speaking, he has not shown to be an alpha dog, so to speak, on a team to the point where he would say, no, I'm the guy. I don't think he's ever been that player, to his credit or detriment. I'm not really sure, to be honest, but those two, I think, would, if any two stars would be okay with taking a step back as this kid evolves, I think those two wouldn't be much of an issue with that.
I don't think it's a Paul George and Joel Embiid thing, though. I think it's a ownership thing, and it's a coaching thing. It's from that standpoint. I don't think they're ready to let him be the man.
So let me jump in because I have something that kind of builds on that as well. And you talk about wasting a prime, and part of the reason you worry about wasting the prime is because after watching the first week of the NBA season, I'm scared of how long this Boston Celtics run is going to last. Because you watch those guys play together, and I have the contracts here. Jason Tatum's locked up to 2030, Jaylen Brown 2029, Derek White 2029, Drew Holiday 2028, and Porzingis 2026. Again, with the new cap in the NBA, a lot of things are there. Those guys are locked in, man. And if that core stays healthy, I don't know. Are we going to beat them? Like some of those guys, again, Tatum is probably just hitting his prime now.
Well, I think Tatum and Brown are the guys to worry about. The other guys, I don't think in a year or more than that, probably 2 or more years, you're really too concerned about. I don't think you're concerned with Drew in 2027.
Maybe, but they're just such good complementary pieces to what
sure.
You're talking about a 28-year-old Jaylen Brown and a 26-year-old Jason Tatum.
And also, I think as a result of signing those guys, they're not going to have any flexibility in the future either. So they're pretty much tied to who they have at this point, and they're good, man. Like right now, like in the present, they're really good.
They could win 65 games this year without a problem.
Easy.
I actually think they won 66 last year.
Yeah, let's say they could definitely win 65, especially if they don't have any health issues, and that's without Porzingis.
Yep. All right, we all did one there. Why don't we go back to Chris and hit us with something else?
So it's related to sports, but also unrelated. So last week in one of our football practices, I looked over and there was a kid on the ground, and he was like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God!" And all of a sudden, everybody that was in the huddle freaked out and like ran away from him. And what ended up happening was the kid had actually separated his kneecap.
Oh.
And so his kneecap was all out of place. It was like crooked. His leg was all screwed up. And I didn't know yet at the time what had happened. But as the closest coach, all I could say was, "All right, guys, go get a drink." And then I sprinted over to the kid. And when all that being said, like there was a kid that almost threw up and all kind of crazy stuff, right? And I'm like, what am I about to see? Is this kid's bone going to be sticking out of his skin? Like, what is happening, right? So we have an awesome trainer. She put his kneecap back in place and kind of kept it mobilized and all that kind of stuff until they got an air cast for him. But my answer ultimately is gruesome injuries that we see, especially in the sports world. But if it's not even in sports, if it's just in life in general and something like a freak accident happens or whatever, and being there to actually see the situation is petrifying to the point where like it also makes me like freak out and just get anxious about, God forbid, if it ever happened to me and like what I would do.
I saw
that was gross.
The worst one I saw was a kid at practice. His arm got caught in a kid's face mask and it ripped his arm open. You could see the bone and all.
Yes.
It's not fun to watch, especially when you're talking about 12, 13-year-old kids.
Correct.
It's horrible. I mean that also leads me to just being scared for ourselves, guest at our our ages, our advanced ages.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, I am scared to like play a pickup basketball game. I haven't played a pickup basketball game in 10 years, probably for the better. But I'm scared of tearing Achilles or tearing ACL or you know what I mean? Just some fluke that never would have been on my mind in my 20s.
The risk is not worth the reward at this point.
No.
Oh, see, now I'll do that. I don't do it as often as I used to, but I'll do that maybe like once, like even like basketball, like once a week or something. Not in the last probably a couple of months because of the girls and stuff. I haven't had a chance to do it, but I do know that because of my foot surgery a few years ago and even now how it feels, the more I play, my chances of tearing my Achilles in my right foot is like upwards of 80%. I mean, I'm pretty sure my tendon is like it's right there rubbing on the bone, waiting for it to just rip. But in here, I can't just stop. My heart, my head, I can't I can't stop. Part of me is just like play it literally till the wheels fall off. And I shouldn't be like that. I should be more like you and be like, nah, it ain't for me. Because we just had a conversation today, Sarah and I, and she's like, I was like, I was thinking, and she's like, what? You're not gonna play sports anymore? What? Is that what you said? And I was like, no, that's not what I said. But she knows, like, even at school this summer when we had the at the end of the year, we had the football game with the staff versus the 7th and 8th graders. And that next day I could not walk. I literally couldn't walk until like deep into the afternoon because my foot just wouldn't let me. I was literally like an old man hobbling around this place. But would I do it again? I would. Absolutely.
You're in it for the pop. You're like Ric Flair.
Yeah, you want it.
That's what I'm saying. I know it's going to happen probably, but
yeah,
I can't stop.
All right, Al, why don't you hit us with another one of yours?
What scares me is that, here I go again. I'm being negative about something that should be positive. I'm scared that the Eagles are going to do just enough this season to retain the services of Nick Sirianni, and I'm going to add on to that. I'm just scared of being hurt again after two absolutely just pain-free wins by the Eagles. Not any of those is a win type of wins. Just wins in dominating fashion, and a hell of a win on the road last week, going to Cincinnati, a place that we haven't won. I don't know the last time we won in Cincinnati. Never. So there you go. I'm scared that we're going to do just enough, and the front office is going to say, let's give this guy one more shot. I don't know if you guys listened to the clip from the Chris Long podcast, but what he did was he had some guys that looked at some numbers. And where would you say is the Eagles' biggest deficiency so far this season?
So I saw the clips. I know where you're going, but it's
yes,
obviously first quarter offense.
First quarter, first drive, right? So in the clip, the Eagles are last in efficiency on first drives of the season. Right. There's a lot of mumblings about whether or not Nick Sirianni is stepping on Kellen Moore's toes and calling plays. In first drives this year, the Eagles have a 33-67 pass-run split, okay? Or excuse me, run-pass split. They're running the ball 33% of the time, passing it 67% of the time. In all subsequent drives this season, they're fifth in efficiency, and there's a 48-52 split, so a more balanced attack. If you go back to 2021, when Nick Sirianni started the season calling plays, the first drives that year was a 33-67 run-pass split. Once Shane Steichen took over, it was a 48-52 run-pass split. Again, that's all from the Chris Long podcast. I think that tells you all you need to know about whether or not Nick Sirianni's fingerprints are on this offense, and I don't want them on this offense or on this team anymore.
Yeah, I think it's handicapped not only Kellen Moore, but it's handicapped. It's held back Jalen Hurts to an extent. That it tells me also maybe there's a chance that he has a scripted first 10 or whatever many plays that they go to, which is not abnormal. I mean, there's some coaches that
everyone does it. Everyone does it.
Yeah, and but his plays are whack. Mm-hmm. So like we're stuck with it. And then he probably like, all right, I'm just gonna have the first 15 scripted plays, and then you can do whatever you want. Cool, bro. And then they suck, and then Kellen starts cooking, and then we move. And I agree with you, Al. I don't care what they do. I told you the other week. I mean, I want that guy out of here. I'm all out. You about all in? I'm all out on
Seltzer's in. He's back. You can tell.
No, yeah, I'm not back. I was out on Sirianni even in the Super Bowl year if you go back through the tape. But I think it's a bad time to be bashing these guys because they've probably played the best two football games that they've played since I would say the Super Bowl year. Because we could talk about last year and those games, they were squeaking by, getting outgained in yards throughout. So, I mean, those were that game yesterday, especially the second half, that looked like the old team. That looked like the team from 2 years ago when MVP Hurts. And we got to give Hurts his credit. Like, as much as we bashed him early on, the last 3 games he has taken care of the football, which is the most important thing. He's made the throws he needs to make. It's nice to have Saquon in the backfield, without a doubt. But we have to give Jalen his credit for doing his job, and he really has. And the defense has stepped up.
MVP Hurts is back. MVP.
Whoa!
Listen, no, stop. These last three games, 9 total touchdowns, no turnovers, 71% completion rate, 10.4 yards per attempt, which is better than the league leader right now, Jared Goff, at 9 per attempt. Listen, the thing with him, is now when you're watching him on the field, he's passing the eye test too. Like he's making passes, he's not leaving the pocket early. He doesn't have the skittish feet. His run game again, his legs are a weapon again. We haven't seen this in over a year.
The total TD thing is bullshit to me.
It's not though, because if it was that easy, like everybody would do it. It's
but they could very easily have handed the ball off to Saquon and they would have been touchdowns that way.
But there's also an argument on the other side of that says that teams can easily just do the same thing the Eagles do and score the same way that the Eagles do when they don't. So, but even still, like he had a touchdown yesterday that was not just a push touchdown.
Correct. That's fine. I got no problem with that.
And I thought that I was going to get ripped when we got on here today for saying exactly what you said, which is he looked like 2022 Hurts on Sunday.
He did.
And the team looked like 2022 Eagles on Sunday, more importantly. And so if that sticks around, you look at their schedule coming up, they got a lot of winnable games in a row here in a second. And Dallas, I don't know where their head is at, but that to me looks more like a winnable game every week.
Sure.
I know we struggle in Dallas in the Jerry Dome, but
so
I
don't see all the winnable, like the next 5. Obviously, we have Jacksonville, which is winnable. Let's say that's a win.
And they may not have either receiver on that team either.
Doesn't matter.
They may not have Kirk or Thomas in that game.
Yeah, that they're going to win that game.
Yeah,
regardless of who plays. But the next 4 after that, at Dallas, like you said, they're not playing well, but it's always tough. Washington is that's game for first place at that point. They're playing really good. At the Rams and at the Ravens, like I don't see like those are like chalk those up as W's.
No, I'm not saying
the most recent.
I don't think they're guaranteed win. I'm just saying they're winnable, is what I'm saying. Yeah. They're not playing world-beating teams. They're playing. There's a couple good teams and a couple teams that I think are overachieving in there.
As much of an Eagles basher as I've been, if they play the way they play Sunday, every game is a winnable game.
And I'm interested to see how Washington reacts to a game where something's on the line. This is their biggest game of the season against us in that game.
Washington's beaten some teams though. They're not schedule.
They have, but Jaden Daniels hasn't played at the link yet, where first place in the division is on the line. That's a big game.
Correct.
Yeah, and what? Let's go through real quick. I mean, I don't know. One of you guys probably has it in front of you before I do. I can try to get it open, but I mean, the Commanders, their wins. I know that
they got a couple. I think I'll pull them up, but let's pull.
I don't think they're like great. I think they're solid.
Well, you can say the same thing about the Eagles.
But I'm saying no. It's not like I mean, you're almost like you're ready to like.
Yeah, no, you're right. The Commanders don't have any great wins on their schedule,
and they shouldn't have won yesterday. I mean, yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
They let the Bears come back in that game late. They should have lost it, but miracles happen.
You guys are the ones with the better memory than me as far as plays go. Where does that pass to Devontae rank as far as Hurts' best passes in his career? Because that was a dime.
Yeah,
he rolled to the right. It was obviously a design. It was the design of the play was from the roll out to the right, trust Lane Johnson without Mailata in the game to give him that extra protection. But I mean, he dropped that in the bucket. That was a hell of a pass.
And it was a throw to the middle of the deep middle of the field too, which is not his strength. I mean, and Devontae's got some of the best in-air ball skills I've seen in a receiver. Like I trust him so much with a jump ball scenario, more than AJ even. Not because I don't think AJ can catch him. I just feel like Devontae, whether it's because he's lighter and more spry, I think he's more spry, or what it is, but I just think that he's just like, you put that ball in the air, he's going to go get it, and he did that yesterday.
Yeah, and if you look at that play, he had AJ up the sideline, and he chose to throw it deep down the middle, like you said, Guess, which is something that we haven't seen from him again in a long time. I mean, you know what it is too.
He looked more confident.
Confidence. I brought this up in the first week, and we talked. We all talked about it. How in the preseason we think it's a mistake that they don't get these guys to play together in the field, gel together, especially when you have new coordinators. And I think maybe now, what is it, week 7, week 8 of the NFL season? Maybe now they're finally getting to the point where they're trusting each other, getting to know each other, and getting to know their coordinators, and vice versa.
And I can't help it. The other thing that we have to factor in is they didn't have AJ Brown for 3 or 4 weeks when they were struggling.
Yep. And not only that, I think that it's not coincidental that with that bye week, all of a sudden our offense started clicking. I think that Sirianni got called into the principal's office and was told, listen, bro, we invested in an offensive coordinator that we know has a history of success. Use them. And that offense has looked a lot different. I mean, like I was saying a minute ago when Seltzer was talking, we've seen Hurts even in like under center in various plays the last 2 weeks that we haven't seen in a long time. And the word was we thought that maybe he didn't like being under center. I think it's that Sirianni doesn't like Hurts under center, or at least his quarterback in general, maybe under center. But either way, it's clear, like you said earlier, it's clear that Sirianni has got his footprints in the offense, and it's not a positive when he does.
All right, but listen, either way, we've seen some good football the last few weeks, and let's hope they build on it. They have a very winnable game on Sunday. So we'll see what happens. But I do want to get to some other things tonight, guys. But so since we're on the football mode, why don't we do our best bets for the week? Chris, I'm not going to mention you took the Titans last week.
God. Yeah, that was
Al, who'd you have?
Did I win? I don't know.
You don't remember who you had?
No.
All right. I had to win. I had the Rams on Thursday, but I'll open it up this week. I got a trivia question while we're talking about strength of schedule for you guys. I got a team, guys, that's favored on the road. I'm going to give you their wins so far this year, and then I'm going to give you the other team that they're playing real quick. I got a team that's 4-3. Its 4 wins are home for the Jaguars, home for the Panthers, home for the Rams, and home for the Titans. That's the team's 4 wins. The team they are playing, I'm going to give you all of their games so far. They are 4-4. This is their schedule. At Buffalo, home for the Rams, home for the Lions, home for the Commanders, at the 49ers, at the Packers, Chargers at home, at the Dolphins. A significantly harder schedule for that team. And this first team is favored on the road going into this team's home field. I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals +1 against the Chicago Bears. Actually, the line flipped to Cardinals -1 now. I'll still take it. I think this Cardinals team may be sneaky okay. And Chicago, like I said, hasn't beaten anybody. Who has it? Titans, Panthers, Jaguars, and Rams without any receivers.
That's a fun game.
That is a fun game.
That's one of those games that you can, just sit and watch and probably put some same game parlays in on some of those boys in that game.
Yeah. Cardinals are sneaky, man.
I had the Broncos last week, and they won by 14. So one would have to assume they covered.
Yeah, you're good there.
I'm going to stay in Philly this week, where we're hosting the Jags, as we said, and the total in that game is 45.5. And I don't see the Jaguars scoring more than 10. This Eagles defense looks reinvigorated. They look like a totally different team. We didn't talk too much about them, in the previous segment, but Nolan Smith is improving every week. Zach Bond tied for 6th in the league in solo tackles. Nakobe Dean has been bouncing back after a last rough couple of weeks prior to the last 2. Isaiah Rodgers steps up in the wake of Darius Slay being put out of the game. And Cooper DeJean, man, makes that play on Jamar Chase in the backfield on 4th down. I really like the Eagles defense right now, and I think they're going to keep things rolling against this just abysmal Jaguars team for Doug's homecoming. So I'm taking the under 45.5 in that game.
All right. Chris?
You don't want to take the Eagles -7.5, bro?
I'm leaving it for you. It's right on the platter. Go ahead,
that double up parlay.
Go ahead and take it.
No, I'm gonna go to Cleveland. I think Jameis is about to get the Browns hot.
Love Jameis.
I think that ever since he's got that LASIK surgery, what was it, 2 years ago, I think it was, he has not been a bad quarterback. I think that what happened before that kind of soured him in other people's eyes. I think he's all right. He's definitely better than Deshaun was. They are 2-point underdogs at home to the Chargers. That line it's about scaring you. That freaks me out. I don't know why the Chargers are 2-point favorites, but I'm gonna bite the bait here. And I'm going to take the Browns +2 at home with this new look famous Jameis offense. I think they're about to turn it up a little bit.
The Chargers are favored because of my boy Lad McConkey. Told you about him, Lad McConkey.
Yeah, Georgia Bulldog.
Did you see that Jameis Winston pregame speech, though, when he's like, yo, we got to play for the team in our helmet? Well, we ain't got decals on our helmets, but y'all know what I mean.
I didn't hear him say that.
Right in the tunnel, right before the game.
His speeches are fantastic.
Family on 3.
He's the best. All right. The other thing we're going to get into tonight is we are bringing back scattergories. Al and Chris are going to have a rematch tonight. Al, you took the first one. But if you guys have not
I
joined us,
want you.
I'm going to take the second one.
yeah, the way that this works is I have 6 categories here. I went with the same categories. We have wrestling, baseball, music, movies, football, and basketball. And you guys will pick a category. I will give you a question at that point, and you're going to write down as many answers as you can in 45 seconds. Any duplicate answers will not count. So we will throw it to Al. You won the first time, so we're going to let you pick the first category.
You don't want to defer, Al?
I was just going to say, can I defer?
You can
No,
defer if you want.
I'll go ahead and I'll start things off. We're going to start things off a little different here. We're going to go with music first.
All right, we're going to go with music first. So the question I'm going to ask you guys has 16 possible answers. And what I want is the artist who won Album of the Year at the Grammys from 1995 to 2010. Okay, so I'm going to start the clock. Actually, I have my calculator up instead of that. So you guys get a couple extra seconds. But I'm going to start the clock now. So again, I'm looking for the artist who won Album of the Year from 1995 to 2010. There's 16 artists. I will say 15 artists and 1 soundtrack. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a hint there with that one. Again, got to go back into our heyday a little bit here with some musical hits.
Is the hint the soundtrack? Is it like a Disney movie?
I don't know. I'm not giving any more hints. We got about 10 more seconds, so get them down as fast as you can, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. All right, Al, why don't you start us off? You pick the category.
All right. This is just how I rattled them off. Daft Punk?
Daft Punk is not correct.
Sir Elton John?
Sir Elton John. Again, we're going 95 to 2010 here. Sir Elton John.
Respect that. Put respect on Elton John's name.
All right. I got a definite here. Beck.
I do not have Beck on the list.
What were the years again? 95
to 2010.
He did win, though, the one year because he beat Kanye, and Kanye fans were pissed about it. Adele?
Again, you're outside the time frame here.
Yeah, I did not listen to you say 2010.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought you. Well,
I heard 1990.
I thought it was like 20.
It's all me. I heard 1995, and I just started writing. I'm going to go with Vanessa Carlton.
No Vanessa Carlton.
I'm going to go with Green Day.
No Green Day.
I'm going to go with the Foo Fighters.
No Foo Fighters.
I'm going to go with Alicia Keys.
Man, you should have started somewhere else, dude. There's no Alicia Keys.
I'm going to go with Madonna.
Nope.
And then the soundtrack I had was "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
That is correct. Did you have that guest?
What?
Shout out George Clooney.
No.
Shut. I never even heard of that.
Dude, that's a bust out. Yeah. Oh my God.
I never heard that in my life.
All those you named off all those who's, and then it was like, "Oh, brother, there art thou." Yes, correct.
All right, Chris, what you got?
All right, so I had a couple of the same. I had Alicia Keys. You said no. Green Day. You said no. Adele. You said no. How about my guys Coldplay?
Coldplay's not on there.
All right. How about Outkast?
Outkast is on there. That is correct.
And how about that Alanis Morissette?
Alanis Morissette is on there. That is correct.
That's all I got.
All right. So here are the ones that you missed. This is in chronological order here. We got Tony Bennett, Alanis Morissette, Celine Dion, Bob Dylan, Lauryn Hill, Santana, Steely Dan, then the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou soundtrack. Norah Jones was a controversial winner.
Oh, that's right. Norah Jones.
That's what I was thinking of when I wrote Vanessa Carlton.
I love me some Norah Jones.
Outkast, Ray Charles, U2, the Dixie Chicks, Herbie Hancock.
I was about to say Herbie Hancock. Yeah, because I remember
Robert Plant and Alison Krauss, excuse me.
Krauss.
And then the last one in 2010 would have been Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad miss. There was a couple misses there, but that was hard.
Yeah, that was a little bit tougher. I mean, you guys are musical guys. I figured it would be decent.
So
all right, so you got 2-1, Chris. Chris, next one goes to you.
All right, can you like put the
movies, wrestling, baseball, basketball, football?
Yep.
All right, let's go with the sports first. get the sports out the way. Go to football.
Okay. So for football, I have time frame from 1990 until present day. So you have all 35 years. There have been 19 players who have scored 20 or more touchdowns in a season. Can you name them? Starting now. So if you played fantasy football, a lot of these guys were the big name players here. So again, we're looking for guys who have scored 20 or more total touchdowns. Obviously not passing touchdowns. That wouldn't make any sense to do that. Again, the time frame is 1990 on, and there are 19 players who have scored 20 or more touchdowns in a season. Some running backs, some wide receivers. I will give you guys a hint. I do not believe there are any tight ends on this list. So thinking about those fantasy gold mine guys that you hated to go against or you love to have in that time frame, we are down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. All right, Chris, you're the opener here.
All right. I only put down 7 dudes because I just took too long to write these. But Moss.
Al, do you have Moss?
Yeah.
Okay. Moss is correct.
I don't know if I can show you this here while I'm doing it, but I don't know how the weather people do this. T.O.
Hold on. Let me make sure. I don't know. I don't think T.O. was on this list. Yeah, T.O. did not have 20 in a season.
How about Sean Alexander?
Sean Alexander's correct. Al, do you have him?
I have Alexander.
Tomlinson.
Tomlinson's correct. Al, you had him?
I have LT.
Okay.
How about Marvin Harrison?
I do not have Marvin Harrison on my list.
How about Priest Holmes?
Priest Holmes is correct. Al?
I have Priest.
How
Okay.
about Jamal Charles?
Jamal Charles did not do it.
How about Adrian Peterson?
Adrian Peterson did not have 20 touchdowns in
Wow.
the season.
That's
Surprising.
Yes.
That's all I could get time to write.
Okay, so
The ones that guessed didn't say I have Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice did not have 20 in that time frame. He did in the 80s, so it was 1991.
I have Marshall Falk.
Marshall Falk's correct, so that'll be
It's a Christian Faurier on that list.
Kevin Falk.
Kevin Falk.
I tried Marshawn Lynch, but that's not right.
Marshawn Lynch is not correct.
I have Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson is correct. That's
Oh,
three.
boy.
And I have a diverse favorite, Curtis Conway.
I think that was just for the. That to be just for the verse.
Remember he had that jersey? Only family members had that jersey.
Okay, so here's the list, and this goes from most touchdowns to least amount of touchdowns. LaDainian Tomlinson's the all-time leader. Sean Alexander was second. Priest Holmes was third. Marshall Falk was fourth. Emmitt Smith was fifth. Terrell Davis, Randy Moss, Terry Allen actually did it. A few years ago, Todd Gurley, then Larry Johnson, Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey as recently as last year.
Wow.
Raheem Mostert also did it last year.
Oh, yeah.
Austin Eckler, Amon Green, David Johnson, Shady McCoy, Jonathan Taylor, and D'Angelo Williams. That's the list.
Look at Ernie's list.
Yeah.
Steve
Ernie's
Young,
thinking about passing touchdowns there.
Brett Favre, Michael Vick, and John Elway.
Refresh my memory. Terry Allen. Why do I feel like I should know who? I don't remember Terry Allen. Who is that?
Terry Allen was a running back. He was, I think the biggest year he had was on the then Redskins.
Yeah. Okay, now I got him. Well, I totally forgot about that dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's so unknown. I type in Terry Allen, and he's not even the first guy that pops up.
Yeah, I totally forgot about him.
Let's pull up the line. Let's have a little Terry Allen moment here.
Or
Terry Allen,
Stephen Davis.
Terry Allen in 1996 for the Washington Redskins had 1,350 yards and 21 rushing touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah. Big year for
All
him.
right.
All right, let's go to Al.
Hold up. What was his
3-2. 3-2.
Al.
All right. I'll get this out of the way. I'll go movies.
Okay. For movies, I want to know Tom Hanks' 10 highest grossing movies. So obviously there are only 10 answers on the board. And I'm going to press the button now. You guys have 45 seconds. I can't give too much away, but I mean, if you're a movie buff, Tom Hanks, obviously one of the most popular actors in the 90s, I would say it was probably his prime, but obviously still in some other stuff before and after that. So we're looking for the 10 highest grossing Tom Hanks movies that he starred in.
I'm not a Tom Hanks guy, to be honest with you.
I'm gonna have like 8 of them.
Yeah,
We
you
got
might win this.
15 seconds left on the clock here. Well, this could be a big swing here. If Chris, movies is usually Chris's.
Yeah, but I'm not a Tom Hanks. I'm not a Tom Hanks guy.
All right, time up now.
See, I lulled you to sleep. Casey's been spry as a chicken. I'm I'm wide awake, guest.
Ern's in here giving spoilers in the chat, but that's no big deal.
I wasn't even looking at it.
Yeah, Al, go ahead.
I'll give you the ones I know guest has. Forrest Gump.
Al, or guess? Okay.
Castaway.
Yeah, I guess away.
Saving Private Ryan.
Didn't have that.
Saving Private Ryan is correct.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia is not on here.
I was gonna say, I don't think. Yeah,
I wasn't sure about that.
that's probably his best role, though, in my opinion. But
This is not true, but it's his best role. League of Their Own.
League of Their Own is not on here.
Polar Express.
Polar Express is on here. Guess you have it.
Yes, yeah.
And then here's the one that
guess you have Polar Express.
No.
Okay.
Guest, if you didn't get these, you're out. Toy Story 1 through 4.
No, none of them are on the list.
That doesn't make sense. There's no way that's accurate.
No way.
There's no
Unless
way
it was.
Toy Story is one of the highest grossing cartoons of all time, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, no, that would that would make sense. But hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
This is like when I screwed that movie category up in that one. I said like Star Wars was the highest grossing movie ever, or something. Star Wars
with the inflation, I think it was
Revenge of the Siths.
The shits.
I may have had a bad source here, but hold on.
You on that Wikipedia?
It's impossible that Toy Story 1 through 4 are not on the list.
Well, no, I only said the
so.
First
Look,
movie.
I'm using IMDb, which does not have those movies on here. So that's the source we used. It's probably not correct, but that's the source we used. IMDb. That's a valid source.
I would at least give Toy Story 1 on there. I didn't go through 1 through 4 just because I didn't know if you were counting them as a series or just one thing or whatever. But Toy Story, Forrest Gump, Castaway, Apollo 13.
Hold on, slow down. So you said go through.
These are the ones we already had: Toy Story, Castaway, Forrest Gump, and then I had Apollo 13.
That's correct.
And I threw out Catch Me If You Can.
That's correct.
And this is a cult movie, a cult following. I don't know if it grossed that much, but That Thing You Do.
No, that did not get on there.
That's a good pull, though. Catch Me If You Can's a Leo movie, though.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So the ones you guys missed were The Da Vinci Code.
Oh, I never even seen it.
Angels and Demons.
Yeah, it's all that freaks me out.
The Green Mile. And then the chick flick, You've Got Mail.
Guess that's a big guest movie.
No, I've never even seen that.
Guess we've seen that in the theaters, dude.
What? You've Got Mail?
All right. So
for the record,
we're going to call it a wash.
Well, hold on. When you say that, let's clear it up like it ain't just me and you going to a movie. Like that'd be crazy. That's a little suspect, a little sus.
Well, listen, Meg Ryan, dude. All right, we got 3 categories left: wrestling, baseball, and basketball. Chris, your choice.
What's the score again?
5-4, Al.
All right, you said wrestling, baseball, and basketball?
Yep.
All right, let's do baseball.
Okay. There's only 8 possible answers here. And what I want to know is from 1990 until today, so again, that's the time frame, the 8 pitchers who have had 300 strikeouts in a season. So we will start the clock now. So you're thinking about those power arms from the 1990s until now. When you think about it, when you think about it this way, if you get 30 starts in a season, you have to average 10 strikeouts a game to get to 300. It's a pretty elite number to get to. And like I said, there's been 8 guys who have done it in the past 34 seasons. We're going to see how many you guys can name. We got 20 seconds on the clock. I'm very interested to see what names come out here because, again, it's a short list. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. All right, Chris, hit me with some names.
I'd probably do better at these if we do these like in the afternoon when my brain was working. But Schilling.
Al.
Don't have Schilling.
Schilling's correct.
Randy Johnson.
I have Randy.
Okay.
Pedro Martinez.
I don't have Pedro.
Pedro's correct.
And then Roger Clemens.
No, it was not. It was not in the 90s.
Wow.
Even in his late steroid surge, he didn't have it.
I'll double check, but I don't know if he logged the innings to do it. In those.
And then I got a couple. I just guessed them. Halliday.
Holiday never had 300.
How about that? How about that phenom Hideo Nomo?
No, Nomo's not on here.
I got Nomo guessed.
Yeah, see that? I knew I had him.
Roger,
You got Dice K on there?
I don't have Dice K.
Roger Clemens' career high is 292 in 1997.
Okay.
You got Hideki Arabu on there?
Hideo Nomo's career high was his rookie year at 236.
Did Matsusaka make it?
No Dice K.
Or as we like to call him, what do we call him? Al or Seltzer? Tanaka Tanaka Wednesdays?
Masahiro Tanaka? Tanaka Tuesdays.
Yeah.
All right, that was it?
I know it's up to say, yeah, I know it was different, but it was just
Okay. Al, do you have any other ones?
Yeah, I threw darts here. I got Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor.
Neither made 300.
I got AJ Burnett.
Nope.
I got Cliff Lee.
Nope.
I got King Felix.
Nope.
I got Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw is correct.
Nice. I got Nolan Ryan.
No, not in that time frame.
Didn't he play in the 90s though?
Yeah, he did. That was.
I got Maddox Smoltz.
Nope.
I got CC Sabathia.
Nope.
And I got Dontrell Willis, the D Train.
No D Train. All right, so the names you guys missed, a couple of more recent guys. Actually, all four are still active, the guys you missed. So Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, and Chris Sale are the other four names on the list.
Yeah.
So we are at 6-6 here with two categories left. David Wells and
Dave Cohn.
David Well and Dave Cones did not complete it.
Or is he saying David Dave Cones?
Those are the moments there. All right. Wrestling and basketball is left, Al.
You know we have to end with the main event, so we're going with hoops.
Yeah,
right.
dude. Don't even ask that.
I'm going to give you guys a minute because I really like this question. What I want to know is since the year 2000, so from 2000 on, I want to know the coaches that coached the Eastern Conference team in the NBA Finals. So any team that went to the NBA Finals in the East, who their coach was from 2000 on. There's been 14 different coaches, and I'm going to give you guys a minute to do it starting now.
I'm so screwed, dude. I'm not going to get two.
There's no way you should get only two. Again, we're thinking about the Eastern Conference teams that went to the finals and who was coaching those teams. There's a couple that have been done it multiple times. So those will only count once in this. And there's certainly some interesting names on the list, that's for sure. So again, best bet is probably think about some finals and try and work backwards on who those coaches were.
Jesus.
No Charlotte Hornet coaches on this list, believe it or not.
I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
No Washington Wizards either.
Oh my god, dude! I can't think of guys' names, man.
This is like the 5 seconds. The Bengals coach for Al. Al's not a coach guy. He can't pull up the names. All right, let's drop the pens now. All right, Al.
I can't even get the Celtics dude that's coaching the team right now.
I got him.
I got Larry Brown, obviously.
Larry Brown is correct. I guess you have him.
Yeah.
I got Stan Van.
Stan Van's correct. Guess.
I don't have that.
Okay.
I got Coach Spo.
Yep.
Spo is correct. You guys both have that.
Did Doc Rivers take a team there?
Doc Rivers correct. Guess you have it.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I got Frank, the dude from Indiana.
No, he did not. He did not get to the finals.
Lawrence Frank?
Yeah, Lawrence Frank did not get to the finals.
He wasn't the coach.
Wait, who was the Nets coach when they went to the finals?
Byron Scott.
Oh.
Frank was the guy that lost to the Heat because there was the joke he keeps Googling how to beat the Heat and just keeps getting delicious summertime lemonade recipes.
What?
What was his name? Frank Vogel. Frank
Oh,
Vogel.
Frank
Vogel.
Vogel. I thought you meant Lawrence Frank.
That's who I was thinking. Lawrence Frank.
No, Frank Vogel got there as a Western Conference coach, not an Eastern Conference coach. All right,
that's
Chris, give us some
hilarious.
names.
All right, so I had Larry Brown, Lawrence Frank, which said was incorrect. How about Larry Bird?
Larry Bird's correct. That was the first one in the 2000s.
Pat Riley.
Pat Riley's correct.
I had Spo. Joe Mazzulla is the defending and reigning coach that won the title.
Yep.
And I had Doc, unfortunately.
Okay, so Doc was already said. All right, so the names that you guys missed, obviously Byron Scott was one. Mike Brown for LeBron's first Cleveland Cavaliers team. David Blatt for LeBron's second Cleveland Cavaliers run. Tyronn Lue was obviously the coach for the majority of those Cavs teams. Nick Nurse, our own Nick Nurse for the Toronto Raptors. And then the other two names you guys missed were Mike Budenholzer.
I gotta go on mute.
The last two were Mike Budenholzer from Milwaukee, and you guys forgot the other Celtics title run recently. Ime Udoka was the coach for the Celtics against the Warriors.
Somebody get the computer away from Ernie, please.
Ernie's dropping some wild answers in the chat here. All right, Chris, you're up 9-7. We got one category left. It is wrestling, and what I want to know is I'm going to give you again a time frame here from 1990 to 1995. So you got a 5-year window. In that period, there were 12 intercontinental champions. I want you to name the 12. And they had to have won the belt in that era. So the guy whoever had it going into the 1990s campaign is not on this list. So 12 guys who won the intercontinental title from 1990 to 1995. Time is ticking already. There are some very, very popular names on this list, and there's a couple that are sneaky that'll catch up with you if you're not on your game. So we'll see Chris with a 2-point lead. Wrestling is a strong suit, especially that era. So I think he's the favorite to hold on here, but anything can happen in categories. I got 10 seconds left on the clock, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Al, we'll start with you since you're trailing here.
How many did you say there were?
12.
All right. I know some of these are not right, but I got the Ultimate Warrior.
Not correct.
All right. I got the Texas Tornado.
That is correct. Chris, did you have him?
I did not have Kerry Von Erich. No.
Okay.
I got Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect's correct.
Yep.
Chris, you had it?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. I got Bret Hart.
Bret Hart's correct. Chris, you had it?
Yep.
All right. I got HBK.
Shawn Michaels is correct. You had it, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay.
Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon's correct.
I forgot Razor. I did not have.
Okay. So we're now tied 9-9.
I got Double J.
Double J's correct. Chris?
Come on, man. The bread and butter.
Oh.
All right. 10-9.
I don't think this is right. I got Rocky Maivia.
No, that's later on.
Yeah. I got the Mountie.
The Mountie's correct.
Damn
That's
right.
a good one. Dude, that's a bust out.
You have it, Chris?
on that. No, you got me on that.
All right.
I don't think this is correct, but I know they feuded, so I threw it in there. The Boss Man.
No, Boss Man did not have it.
I got Rick Rude.
Nope.
Ooh. And then my last one, I think this is a bust out too. Did Jannetty beat Michaels for it?
Jannetty's on the list.
I do have Jannetty. I do have him. I remember that match.
Playing defense. All right, Chris. So you need two names that Al did not name. Do you have them?
Honky Tonk Man?
No, Honky Tonk Man's in the 80s.
Roddy Piper?
Roddy Piper's correct. Can you give me one more?
Owen Hart?
Nope.
He's reading Ern's list.
No, I swear to God, I swear to God. Wait, so I had what's his name? I just said Honky Tonk Man, Michaels, Ultimate Warrior, Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart, Marty Jannetty, Roddy Piper, Owen Hart, Dusty Rhodes.
No Dusty Rhodes.
Did you have Dave Coates? Did you have Dave?
Oh, so Al pulls it out 11-10.
The Mountie
names. The only names you missed, there are 3 of them. The British Bulldog is one that you guys should have got.
I didn't write him down. I forgot about the SummerSlam match.
British Bulldog. Then Diesel
That was the main
held
event
belt
that
in
night.
94. So Diesel
was
held
it?
it in 94. And the true bust out of all bust outs, if you don't forget, Shawn Michaels forfeited the Intercontinental title when he lost his smile.
Oh, I know who. Dean Douglas.
Dean Douglas was the last one on the list.
Wait, who was the one you said before that?
Diesel.
Dude, I thought that was like 97. I thought about him. I didn't put him down.
I think 2 minutes we get all of them guessed.
Yeah.
Probably only missed the 3.
Yeah.
But Al squeaks it out on
Dude,
the back of the mountie.
Intercontinental title in the 90s?
Who's that?
Rick Rude didn't have it in 90?
He may have come into 90, but I said you have to win it in 90. I don't know that for sure, but those are the names of the guys who have won it in 90s. But another fun day of scattergories. I know, Al, you wanted to close with some more Twitter pictures from last week.
Yeah, let's close it out, guys. I have some more shit that I found on Twitter, and we're gonna start out with probably the funniest. I think the funniest of all.
Is it the Gold Dust picture?
Guys,
Yeah.
is this the worst statue of all time? The Dwayne Wade statue.
So you know it's bad when the guy himself is like, I don't know who that is.
I mean, what is it worse than Ronaldo and worse than the Sean Taylor catastrophe? That's
I
the
think
question.
it's the worst statue of all time.
No, Sean Taylor was a disgrace.
That was just disrespectful.
And because he's deceased also is even worse.
Yeah, but look at that. That's pretty bad, dude.
Yeah, he looks like he's like somebody from like Greek mythology.
When the comment was that he looks like Kelsey Grammer. When you have Dwayne Wade and Kelsey Grammer looking together, that's
like an extra in the 300 or Gladiator or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah, it's awful.
All right. Next one I got for you. It's Dak Prescott in a jersey that says ass on the nameplate. Do you guys think the Cowboys are cooked?
I think it's a disastrous season for them. And it started out that way with all the contract disputing with CD and Dak, and then they shadily signed Dak to an extension the day of the season. Like, that was weird to me. They have no running game at all. I think that's, in an NFC that's pretty tough. I think there's a world where they don't make the playoffs. I do think that.
Guess you're muted. Come on, dude. This ain't Zoom. What are you doing?
Oh, my fault. Aside from CD, their receiving core is not that great.
No. All right.
That's hilarious, though.
Next one.
I saw this. I was going to send it to you this morning.
Every year we get a new crop of the funniest
always
names.
Right.
Funniest names.
Po' Boy King. That's the best one.
So we got Always Right, a guard from Rhode Island. We got Po' Boy King, a guard from NC Central. Guess, how do you pronounce the third one?
Is it Gob Gob?
Gob Gob. A guard from Kansas City. Is Kansas City even a legitimate university? What is that?
Yeah.
And then we got a forward from Oregon, Big Ten now, Supreme Cook. Look at that smile.
That's actually kind of a boss name, I think.
We got center from Liberty, Caillou. And then we got a guard forward from Utah Tech, Tennessee Rainwater.
Well, I will say this. I think Kansas City it's UMKC, and they must have rebranded it, I guess, into Kansas City. I'm assuming. I don't know. But Always Right is just you got it.
Yeah, if your last name is Right and you name your kid Always, you're just doing a huge disservice.
Yeah, that's just an L, man. Like that's enough to make me not want to talk to my parents anymore.
These can't be real names, right? These have to be nicknames.
Po' Boy King.
I mean, we got a guy in the NFL named Kool-Aid, so that's in the Hall of Fame.
Is that his real name?
Yeah, no, I think it.
I don't think it is.
I can't remember the story. I forget. I don't know. But either way, like it's on his data, his league stuff.
I don't think it's his real name though. His real name is Quincy. G-A'' Kool-Aid McKinstry. And the nickname Kool-Aid was given to him by his grandmother at birth because he had a Kool-Aid smile.
Well, how about that's cute.
So how did Po' Boy King get his name?
Well, or the homie I sent you the other day, Storm Duck.
Storm Duck.
Like, who does that?
Storm Duck was on Penn State for a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, he
Oh, you're
left.
familiar with the Storm Duck.
He left before the season started. All right, last one I got for you. Last thing I found on Twitter. If you were, I mean, I know you guys watched the Sixers game last night, dude. The end of NBA games, there's a problem. Like there's an issue with how slow they are, and so this is a time breakdown of an average NBA game that we're looking at here, and it says that 37.2% of what you watch on an NBA game is actual basketball. 32.3% is commercials and intermissions. 21.2 is the ball not in play, and 9.3 is free throws.
Dude, get the breakdown for an NFL game. It's way worse.
Yeah,
I mean, the average NFL game, or really even college game, I believe they said of actual action is less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The clip or what I was watching today on YouTube TV was a recap of the Eagles game. It was every play, but it was just snap, tackle, like it took out all the in between, and it was like 20 minutes long.
It was broken down
too. Isn't much different. I mean,
no, it was broken down like I want to say like 15 years ago or so. Somebody actually clocked the seconds of action, which are just like when a play is being run, and they found that baseball actually had the most of the three when you just count from the pitch being thrown to the ball in play until the out is recorded.
What do you mean most? Like the shortest amount of action you're saying, or the
most amount of action is actually a baseball game compared to a football game or a basketball game.
Really?
Well, if you're counting every pitch, then I can see that. If you're just counting ball and play, it can't be.
Right. And by the way, this guy could have been with the other six guys. Look at this name.
That's what I was about to say. Mo Mootsie.
Genius.
How is his nickname not Mo Problems?
I mean
Mo Mootsie, Mo Problems.
Yeah, some of these guys are just dropping the ball with their Twitter handles, man. Like there's so many more opportunities for creative greatness.
I do want to jump out in front of this before it becomes a big deal, because the Sixers game yesterday, and you mentioned watching the game yesterday. I understand the concept that the NBA has put in now where if, for instance, a ball goes out of bounds and you challenge it, and the guy, instead of slapping the ball, just slap the guy's arm and never touch the ball, right? We see that all the time. And now they can go back and make that a foul call, which in theory it works. But there shouldn't be a time when the team is challenging it. The team challenging it is the one who committed the foul. They should not get called for the foul at that point. You should have to be the team on the receiving end of the foul. Because I think the Sixers challenged a play yesterday and ended up getting penalized. They called it a foul instead of an out-of-bounds play. And like that shouldn't happen.
So I agree, but I think the rule should be, I'm okay with them looking at everything in the replay, but if you challenge an out of bounds and they decide to call a foul on it, you shouldn't lose your if your challenge was right, but they also threw on top of it a foul, then call the foul but give the challenge back. You shouldn't lose the challenge.
Delays to the game. That's the problem.
But think about it. You shouldn't lose your challenge when what you challenged was there, but they saw something else on top, and then they're just going to be like, you know what? You're right, but we saw this too. So because of that, and you lose possession, we got to take your challenge. I think
the team that is doing the challenge should never be put in a worse off position than they were before the challenge.
The real problem with all this, we talked about last week with fans being collateral damage, is the more stoppages, the better for these leagues, because then they run more ads. There's ads for shit like DraftKings and FanDuel, and they're all in bed together. So it's just more money, more revenue. It's just a cycle. They're never going to get rid of this shit, because how can we see it at home in a split second, but they don't know it there? Like they know it. They're just sitting there and running commercials.
I guess, but I also think as this gets more and more, you see more of it, because I didn't even know they changed the rule until yesterday's game. Like teams are going to be less likely to challenge things because of their fear of a foul. Because I remember, Chris, when we played at Houston, they would say all the time, they would call a ball out of bounds instead of a foul because they didn't want to call a foul on somebody. And they would just say, I know it wasn't out on you, but you know what I mean? Or they're just going to call it out of bounds on you, even though they know you didn't touch it, because they don't want to call a foul.
Well, there, as well as the NBA, there was also incompetency with the officiating, and that's another conversation. But they did do it, Al, yesterday, actually, the NFL game, where they had a play. I was watching it on Red Zone. I forget what game it was. And the ref said to the crowd, basically, like, we're not ready to go to the next play yet because we're still in a commercial. They literally said it on the mic, on the official mic. It's like it's awful. It's really frustrating. And if they're going to put more stuff on like these Amazons and Netflix, I haven't done this in a while, but before we get out of here, I'm going to say, I don't know why we can't just be like soccer and have a stream for a commercial across the screen while we're watching the game. There's no reason why you can't do it. Soccer goes 2 halves, and both halves are not interrupted by commercial. They're commercial free, and the ads are posted in whatever, either a stream, a ticker, a spot, whatever it is, and they're posted on the screen at the time, and then that's it.
No, my
Why
guess
can't we
is
just do that
that
for every sport?
I could be wrong, but my guess is that these networks aren't paying for soccer what they're paying for the NFL, and they have to find a way to make some money off of it. So you're going to get the commercials.
Yeah, and they're not, and these companies aren't paying for just lower thirds or videos picture in picture. They're paying for the full 30-second ads.
Yeah, and there's also people who, I guess, make their living starring in these commercials.
Yeah, that's true. Well, listen, one place you're not going to find these commercials and ads, Springfield Navy. I want to give a shout out to my son Jackson's football team, 20-6 win over Drexel Hill, the young rookie with his second catch of the season, little 9-yard pass over the middle. I said,
you guys, the offensive lineman throwing the pass, 77.
It was a tight end.
Oh, tight end reverse.
Tight end. That's the backup. That's the backup quarterback.
A little annexation of Puerto Rico action in any of these games.
That's what happens when one of your coaches is the offensive coordinator for the high school team. Get some gadget plays, some trickery.
All right. Shout out Jackson with the reception. Happy Halloween to all you guys. We will be back next week. Also going to go Monday with the election on Tuesday. I don't want to interfere with that or get in anything involved with that. So until then, we will drop that beat.